My name is Diego Castrojohn, and I was going to speak to you about how government marijuana run facilities distributing a free product would reduce crime rates by slashing drug trade profits and by breaking the chain that binds 40% of our country's 2 million plus inmates from the prison system. I was going to tell you this until I found no research. Not on crime rates, not on the prison system. Nobody seemed to care. Richard's feedback only seemed to confirm my fears. So I had to think of a topic fast, and as I sat in front of the blank Microsoft Word page, nothing came. I then proceeded to think of why I couldn't think of anything. I'm in sociology, they tell you all the time, look to the social problems, so I figured, what the heck. Anyway, to make a long story short, I'll tell you my new proposition. The notion that having something typed is always better is inhibiting the effectiveness of education. Typing an assignment as opposed to writing dulls creativity and originality. It reduces our knowledge and grasp of the English language. For example, teachers have long said that internet sources are increasingly becoming unreliable. There's no dispute about this. Whenever I Google anything, the first link that comes up isn't from someone with a PhD. It isn't from some credible expert or anything. It's a Wikipedia link. Something that could have been written by anyone, anytime. Anyway, up until now, I haven't been allowed to use Wikipedia as a credible source. So instead, I'd cite the sources that Wikipedia cited to make my project seem more legitimate. Why would I go to the library when I could just minimize my Word window and open up an internet browser? The answer is convenience. Most of us don't go to the library because it's much simpler to do just that. Minimize your window, open up a web browser, Google something. And although the library environment is quiet and perfect for getting work done, it's a lot easier to just sit in your desk and open up that internet browser. The increase in this type of behavior has led students everywhere to absorb substandard information, and on top of that, sound very generic. Everything seems to sound the same. On the other hand, if students weren't indoctrinated with the idea that typed is always better, they'd be more inclined to do their research with paper and pencil, which is a lot easier to carry around a library than a bulky desktop or laptop. Typing is also less personal than writing. It's more difficult to find interest in what's being written when there's a lot less personal connection. If the interest is lowered, then the quality of work is lowered. And if the quality of work goes down, then the amount of learning that took place when the student wrote the work also goes down. The goal of education is to maximize learning, but continually having to type all assignments conflicts with this goal. The continuous typing of assignments also causes students to rely too much on spell check, more than they may think. Try writing some of your assignments on paper with no internet and no spell check. If you're like me, you'll see that you can no longer spell as you could before, and that strangely enough, the syntax and flow of your writing will also be amiss. Something you may begin to wonder is what went wrong. My proposition is directed at those students, those who, due to their teachers' insistence that typing is better, have had their creativity and intelligence dulled. Much the same way math teachers keep telling you not to use a calculator because you forget how to do simple math. Teachers don't seem to stress that enough about writing. It's very much the same. If you're always using spell check, you'll forget how to do simple English writing, and it'll just go downhill from there. Anyway, the doctrine that forces students to have assignment type inhibits the effectiveness of education everywhere.
Well, it appears that you didn't find anything in doing your research on typing either. I think I like the introduction. I mean, you start off with something frank, you're interesting, you're talking about it. You've got a really clear statement of what your proposition is. That's great. And then we run into the problem. You start kind of just going off in the direction of, it's a think piece, it's out loud, it's not really structured as a speech, and so as a consequence, you're wandering around on the subject. You're very dependent on hypothetical examples and some personal experiences. The personal examples are okay, hypotheticals are okay, but I don't know how generalizable they are. You make an assumption that people, for instance, are not being very, very creative in their research, or that they are relying on substandard information. But that's your assertion. I don't have any information that says that. I might very well believe that students are not doing as good a job at the researching as they might have done at one point, except that, you know, over the years I've seen that people have more data in their presentations because of access to the internet, but they may have less understanding of what they're arguing about. I've seen that myself, but I'd like to see some proof on it. Is there some research that shows that our critical thinking skills have gone down as our access to information has gone up? This is a very legitimate argument that you've got here, although I'm not sure I would tie it into typing per se, as much as I would maybe focus on the research requirements or the use of technology, supplementing or replacing actually some of the traditional learning skills that we've had. I think that would maybe work a little bit better. You know, I can see what your chain of reasoning is, I just don't know that it's always proven very well. All right, I thought you did a nice job of delivering it, though, and trying to make it interesting to us. Maybe, you know, a little bit more. Well, I wouldn't even say that. I thought your involvement was pretty solid. Okay, thank you.